So most people approach SCHD retirement planning completely backwards, right? They pick a random number, 500K, a million, 2 million, and ask whether that's enough. What they're missing is the right number depends entirely on what you need to live on, not what sounds like some $1 million milestone. And calculating that backwards from your spending to your required SCHD position is really some simple math that almost really nobody does before they start investing in SCHD. So today, I want to show you exactly how to run that calculation for yourself, what the result actually tells you, and where the assumptions it depends on can actually go wrong for you. So SCHD currently yields around 3.5% to 4% in quarterly distributions. That yield changes over time, both as the share price moves and as the underlying companies grow their actual dividends. The fund's dividend growth rate has historically averaged over 11% annually since its inception. Those two numbers though, current yield and dividend growth rate, are the foundation of any SCHD retirement calculation, okay? They determine how much income a given position can actually generate today and how that income changes over time for you. But here's the core math. If you need 50K per year to live on and SCHD yields 3.5%, you need a position large enough that 3.5% of it equals 50K. Divide 50,000 by 0.035 and you get approximately $1.43 million in SCHD. That's the minimum starting position to generate your required income at today's yield. But that calculation is static. It doesn't account for inflation eroding what $50,000 buys, dividend growth changing what the position generates, or the fact that most people won't turn off reinvestment exactly when they retire. The static number is a starting point, okay? The dynamic version is what actually matters for long-term planning, like we talk about here. The framework I use for this kind of calculation really has two key parts: the target number and the safety margin, okay? The target number is straightforward, right? Annual spending divided by current yield. That's the bare minimum position to cover expenses at today's distribution rate. The safety margin exists because several things can go wrong with the target number on its own, right? The yield, it can compress if the share price rises faster than the dividends. Your spending can increase with inflation. The dividend growth rate can slow down. SCHD Q1 2026 growth was about 3.3%, well below its historical 11% average. Any of these shifts can change the calculation. The way I think about the safety margin is to build a retirement position assuming a lower yield than the current and more conservative dividend growth rate than the historical. If the math works out at 3% yield and 8% annual growth, it will absolutely work at 3.5% yield and 11% growth. But if you plan on the best case and get something worse, you're adjusting your lifestyle in retirement, which in my opinion is probably gonna be a lot harder than having more than you need. Right? So let's talk about the core calculation at different spending levels, right? And I want to walk you through the math at three different annual spending targets so you can see how the position sizing really starts to scale. So if you need 30 grand per year, dividing by a 3.5% yield requires roughly $857,000 in SHD. At a conservative 3% yield assumption, that climbs to 1 million even. If you need 50,000 per year, you need roughly 1.43 million at 3.5 yield, or 1.67 million at the 3% conservative assumption. If you need 75 grand a year, the requirement is roughly 2.14 million at 3.5%, 2.5 at the conservative assumption. The spread between the optimistic and the conservative calculation is pretty meaningful at every single level, roughly 15 to 17% more capital required for the same income when you plan conservatively. That buffer is not waste though, it's the difference between a retirement plan that blends in adverse conditions and one that starts to break down. But you need to understand how dividend growth changes the picture over time here, okay? And here's where SCHD's long-term case really gets interesting and where the single static calculation really undersells what the fund can actually do for you here. If you retire at 60 with 1.43 million in SCHD, generating 50,000 at today's 3.5% yield, and SCHD continues growing its dividend at even a conservative 8% annually, your income from the same exact position grows significantly without adding a single dollar of capital. At 8% annual dividend growth, income from the same position really doubles roughly every 9 years. By age 69, you'd expect roughly 100,000 in annual income from that same 1.43 million. By 78, that grows even further. This is the reason SCHD functions as a long-term income vehicle in a way that purely yield-chasing funds, they do not. The compounding of growing dividends on a fixed capital base is a feature that most high-yield alternatives simply don't have because their NAV is eroding while they distribute. SCHD's NAV has historically grown alongside its dividend. Both compound too. But let's talk about inflation problems and how to think about all that stuff too, right? So here's the challenge, right? The dividend growth story really has to overcome. Inflation means that $50,000 in year 1 buys less than $50,000 in year 10. If inflation runs 3% annually and your SCHD income grows at 8%, you're genuinely ahead. The real purchasing power of your income, it is actually rising, but if inflation spikes above the dividend growth rate in any sustained period, your real income is actually declining even as the normal number grows, okay? The historical SCHD dividend growth of 11% has for sure comfortably outpaced typical inflation. The more recent quarter came in at 3.3 though. No one knows which figure represents the next decade. Planning around the historical average while understanding that shorter periods can look very different is honestly the better approach. And for this reason, most financial planners would suggest not relying on SCHD's distributions as your only income source in retirement, right? You're combining it with Social Security, a liquidity buffer, or an active income layer like the options layer, which we talk about in the ARC option strategy, gives you redundancy in any single source if it underperforms. But look, how much SCHD do I need to retire is a math problem with a lot of personal inputs. Your spending level, your yield assumption, your dividend growth assumption, right? Your inflation expectation. Each of those is a variable you have to fill in honestly. The calculation, it's very simple. The honesty required to fill in the variables correctly is the harder part, really. Most people, they either underestimate their spending, forgetting, for example, healthcare costs, inflation, lifestyle creep, or overestimate the yield and growth rate that they can actually count on. Both errors produce a number that looks achievable on paper and fails short in practice and reality. But here's the right approach. Run the calculation with conservative inputs. If you need $50,000 in income, plan for a $1.6 to $1.7 million position rather than $1.4 million. The extra capital is your margin of safety against the variables that you literally cannot control. And remember, the SCHD works best as a foundation, the passive compounding income floor that other income layers build on top of, not the single source that has to do everything alone and do all the heavy lifting. Here's how I personally think about all of this. I don't plan to live off SCHD's distributions alone in retirement, okay? SCHD is my long-term dividend growth anchor. The part of the portfolio that compounds quietly, grows its income over time, and provides stability when other positions are extremely more volatile. The active income that I generate through the wheel strategy, cash secured puts, covered calls, sits on the top of that foundation. But together, they create an income architecture where SCHD covers the predictable, reoccurring expenses and the options layer supplements and amplifies when setups are honestly favorable. When I run this calculation for my own personal retirement planning, I use a 3% yield assumption and an 8% dividend growth assumption, both below SCHD's historical figures. If the fund performs at its historical average, I'll have more than I planned for. Awesome, right? If the conditions are worse than historically, right, I built in enough cushion to hopefully adjust without some fundamental disruption. Plan for less than you hope for. Build for more than what you actually need. Got some questions for you guys in the comments about today's video. Number one, have you done this kind of calculation for your own specific situation? If so, what spending level and yield assumption did you actually use for yourself? Drop it down below. And are you planning to use SCHD as one of your retirement income sources or as part of a broader income architecture for yourself? Let us know down below in the comments. And if you want to take your education a step further and learn about all the different ways that I plan to generate income during my retirement years, click the first link in the description of today's video. It'll take you to our ARC option strategy workshop. At the end of that training, I also give you my 10 favorite stocks, all under $30 that I love running the wheel strategy on, and you'll get my 2 income calculators as well as my full trade log template. As always, guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.